very good. I'm a little bit shell-shocked because this morning I met one of my heroes.
Who?
Bobby McFerrin. Oh. He lives here and he does these circle songs, these secret circle songs.
Oh, yeah.
And I went to one and I met him for the first time, and it was just a crazy experience because Bobby showed me a lot of ropes when I was a wee lad and less wee lad and the lad I am today. He's just an amazing guy, so I'm really blown away. And he came to Soundcheck earlier on and we sang together. It was just amazing. So I'm in a bit of a kind of Bobby McFerrin daze. But it's a nice feeling. We improvised. Yeah, completely improvised, which is Bobby's won't. You know.
Proper jazz.
Anyway, here we are. And it's time for VIP Soundcheck Extraordinaire Experience. The thing that I've realized in doing these over the last few weeks, the thing I've realized I love most is if you just want to ask me anything in the whole world about music or life or Jacobness or the stage or an instrument or literally anything, you just raise your hand and ask a question, and I'm here to answer those questions of yours. So who wants to go first? Yes.
You go.
How do you warm up your voice before your show?
How do I warm up my voice before the show? Great question. The nice thing about touring is that once you get into the flow of shows, your voice kind of stays at a fairly warmed up level throughout. However, there are a few things to do. One is, this may not be interesting to every single one of you, but one is sirening. So,
Oh yeah.
oh, very good. These kinds of things. The good thing about that is it stops the airflow from your voice being full, and so it's much harder to push or strain your voice in the warming up process. So, well, that's very good. You probably heard singers do this in dressing rooms over the course of your lives. I definitely have. And then, for me, because I use a lot of my chest voice, higher chest voice in the show, and also my falsetto, it's about getting both of those to feel blended, you know. So, and popping between. That kind of thing. Those are fun games, but yeah, just sort of singing as openly as possible and supporting. Nothing unexpected. Just the good old-fashioned vocal warm-ups of old. I would say, for sure. Yeah. How do I take my tea? Well, I don't tend to drink caffeinated tea, unlike other British comrades that I know. I love licorice tea, most of all. Yeah, oh yeah, bit of a medium reaction there. So who loves licorice here? Who loves licorice? Who hates licorice? Yeah, exactly.
I do.
50-50, bang down the middle. Yeah, I love it. I think it's wonderful. So licorice tea is just a licorice tea bag and a hot cup of water, and I'm good to go. Pristine. Very good. Yes.
You've done so many amazing collaborations.
Thank you.
What's on your bucket list of people that you would obviously Bobby McFerrin?
Yeah. I just take one off. I mean, Stevie Wonder and I've never got in the studio, and that's always been a dream. So hopefully that happens. Kendrick Lamar would be a great. Rosalia would be wonderful. And there's so many. I have a long list, but it's been a surreal few years going through and meeting so many of my favorite thinkers, creators, crafters. It's been an amazing time, for sure. Yeah. Anyone from this side? Yes, sir.
Did you enjoy doing the SF Jazz show with just piano?
I did not. No, I loved it. I really enjoy the solo experience. I would almost say equally to the band. I mean, there's something about the band that's properly dynamic. It's like the full dynamic range. With piano, you can take it so far. And I love being totally open and unplanned. The lovely thing about the SF Jazz shows were that I didn't really have a set list, I didn't really have a plan. It was just kind of like walking on and doing whatever, you know.
Do you remember your biggest fan? She was 94 years old.
Yes, yeah, 99.
99.
Yes, and she's actually coming to the Portland show, and it's her 100th birthday on that day.
Yeah.
And I met her in the front row of that concert, and she's bringing her whole family. It's going to be great fun. But yeah, I love the challenge with this show of incorporating elements of the unplannedness, spontaneity, and also the locked-in time code, planned out stuff. But yeah, that was like raw and ready. It's awesome, really good fun. Yes.
I met you because of my 17-year-old son, and we're here celebrating his birthday.
What did you learn to play first? He's a musician at heart, plays several instruments, and loves you. What did you play first?
I think the first thing I was really drawn to was the voice. And I think every other instrument that followed the voice felt like a voice to me a little bit. I never really thought of myself as like an instrumentalist of one thing, like I'm a piano player, or I'm a drummer, or bass player or something. I just thought, well, I'm a musician. And in order to make music, it's helpful to sometimes use instruments. Sometimes you can use people, or the voice, or your body, or whatever. But yeah, to me, everything was a bit like an extension of my voice. But I spent a lot of time here, the piano, because inside the piano is a lot of different kinds of music. You know, the piano can be the drums, it can be the bass, it can be the chords, it can be just sounds, it can be very experimental, it can be it can be everything. And so I sought out music inside the piano and had a lot of great fun doing that. There was a keyboard when I was growing up called a Casio, I think it's called a CTK, oh I can't remember what it's called exactly, the model. But it's one of those keyboards with, 100 rhythms, 200 sounds in it, going through. And I did that for the first years of my life were filled with that. And it showed me what music could be. All these different amazing genres, you had polka and bossa nova and rock and roll and reggae and stuff. You just go through and listen to these weird, MIDI versions of these things that lead you down pathways later in life. But yeah, I loved that. I'm so ever grateful to that keyboard, for sure.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, for sure. Yes.
Speaking of voice, when you wrote World, Oh World, what were you feeling? Were you feeling like despair, or were you feeling hope?
Yeah, great question. I was feeling a little desperate because I'd left the writing of that piece to the day before the flight to Nashville. So, yeah, I was determined. I would say I was feeling determined. But I'd gone to see this choir called the Auditorium University perform in London when I was about 18 years old in 2013, and completely changed my life, or changed my whole life. And so I met the director of the choir after the show, and he said, "Oh, we're fans of yours actually." And I had no idea that anyone had ever seen a video of mine back then. And I kind of vowed to one day write a piece for the choir because they were insane. There's 50 undergrad students singing, 10-part harmonies. How is this possible? So yeah, it took me 5 years to muster up the courage, but in the end I did so, and booked this session at Ocean Way Studios in Nashville, and in sort of classic Jacob style, just sort of put off the moment of composition until the last minute. And I thought, well, I do know it should be an E flat, that I know for sure. And it should just start there. And then it just kind of unfolded. And the nice thing about writing a piece in a single day is your first idea just has to be the right one. So there's less room to question, oh, is that right? Should I do? Oh, I could do, or I could make, you know what I mean? Like to go down the various tributaries of ideas. So yeah, I committed to the idea, and I flew to Nashville, and it changed my whole life. And that was before Jesse Volume 1 came out.
Oh.
So it was really
a long time ago.
Of Jesse, but I knew even back then that it had to be the thing that closed the whole journey. And I didn't touch it since.
Oh wow.
Fantastic. Yes.
No, thank you so much for being here.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me.
I mean, I'm so happy you're here. I had to fly down to LA to see you last time because I missed you here.
Yeah.
Your music seems so much to inspire and to come from a place of real love.
Oh.
There are other artists who do that for me. George Michael is one of them, your fellow compatriot.
Yes,
actually.
George Michael.
Yeah. So I'm just curious if you could speak a little bit about what keeps you inspired to turn toward the light and to uplift us in the music, because I'm so moved by the fact that
Thank you. Thank you so much. That's a wonderful question. Yeah, I think a lot about joy. I think a lot about joy. I feel a lot about joy. And I think joy is maybe one of the more misunderstood emotions. I think people think about joy as being like cheery or like, yeah, everything's great. But actually, joy is a lot more than that to me. Joy can come from anywhere. It can come from deep confusion or sorrow. It can come from relief. It can come from reassurance. It can come from doubt. It can come from struggle and pain. And I think that music is joyous inherently if you present life to it in those terms, in the sense that you can alchemize anything in the world, and sort of transform it into this thing that can help you and other people. If you help yourself, you often help other people too. So yeah, I don't know why I'm coded like that necessarily, but I do think it's in the human condition. And I think that we're trained not to think like that. I don't think anyone comes into the world in any other way, actually. And I'm very grateful to my mum, you know, Susie Collier, for just being a legend and enabling me to see the life in everything. Because where life is, joy is, and life is in everything. And I think I was very much kind of brought up and encouraged to recognize life force when I saw it. And life, like the force of life, can present itself in many ways. You know, even if you're angry or even if you're upset, or there's a force in that wants to live and actually really wants to love. And a lot of love can come out wrong, but actually fundamentally, if you look close enough, there's something in it that's it just wants to live, and it's shining. And so, in a sense, and it can be hard to do this, but in a sense, you just have to be determined to see that in everything. And music is one of those mighty languages that has this kind of innate ability to just kind of remove what's not the life in something, and the life is there then. And the lovely thing about doing performances is that, you know, you get these amazing groups of people, thousands of people. You know, today will be over 7,000 people, and each with their own individual process of alchemy. But the commonality in that is madly powerful, and I love showing up for that and just absorbing it, because it keeps me joyous as well, you know.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Yeah. No, nice to meet you. Very good. Yes.